Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. Again, this is August, your CAD guy. In our previous tutorial, we discussed about the basic 2D shapes that we can create in AutoCAD, which is the rectangle or the square, the circle, the ellipse, and the polygon. And today, we're going to discuss about the other basic 2D objects that we can create in AutoCAD, which is the polyline, which is almost the same as the single line or the basic line. The next one is the spline, and then the arc, the construction line or the XLine, the point, the REVCloud, and the sketch. Okay, so let's start with the polyline. Before that, let's define what polyline is. So polyline is a connected sequence of line segments created as a single object. And you can also create straight line segments, arc segments, or combination of the two. So for us to start creating a polyline, again, we can use this ribbon panel. This ribbon panel is very useful for those who are just starting to learn AutoCAD. You can select the commands that you need all up here. Okay, so here you can see the polyline icon on the upper left corner. You just need to click that, or you can just type in the shortcut for polyline command, which is PL. So type in PL and then hit enter. Now down here in the command line, just the same as the simple line, it's asking for the starting point. So it's asking to specify the start point. So let's just click anywhere here. Let's say here. Now it's asking to specify the next point. So let's just click anywhere here. Let's just continue to create multiple line segments. And if we recall the definition of the polyline, it says it's a connected sequence of line segments created as a single object. So it means if you select even just one line segment, the whole object is selected as one. So it means this line segment is connected to this, to this, to this, to this, and to this. And it is selected as it's like just one group or one object. It's very different when you create a basic line or a simple line. Let's try to do that. Activate the line command. Let's create multiple line segments. There you go. Now, using the basic line command, if you select one line segment, only this line segment is selected. It is not selected as a group or as a single object. So that is the difference between a basic line and the polyline. And again, if we recall the definition of polyline, it says you can create straight line segments, arc segments, or combination of the two. So it means we can make a polyline using the combination of straight lines and arc. So how can we do that? Let's activate again the polyline command, PL, hit enter. First, let's create straight line segments. And now for us to add arc segments, if you can see down here, it says specify next point. So you have an option here to create an arc. So before you click on the next point, type A for arc and then hit enter. And there you go. The next segment that you can create now is an arc. And then you just need to click anywhere you want to place the next point. And as long as you are not changing the command, or as long as you are not escaping from the command, you will be able to create a continuous arc segments. So let's say you want to go back to the line segment. Let's say you're done creating arc segments and you want to create another straight line segments. Just type in L, letter L, and then hit enter without escaping from the active polyline command. And there you go. You can create again the straight line segments. And if you select any part of the object, let's say you select here, the whole object is selected as one object or as one group. And that is how you can create a polyline. And now let's go to the next one, which is the spline. So using the spline, we can create a smooth curve that passes through or near a set of fit points. So spline is like a continuous bended lines with a very smooth curve. So how can we create a spline? So using this menu bar up here, click on the Draw tab, click on Spline, and as we can see, there are two different types of spline, the fit points and the control vertices. So let's start with this control vertices. Now, if you can see down here, it's asking you to specify the first point, just like the simple line and the polyline. It will ask you to specify the first point and then the next point and then the next point and so on and so on. So let's create the control vertices spline. Hit enter or space bar to end the command. Now let's create the other type, which is the fit point spline. Click Draw, Spline, and then click Fit Points. So as you can see, this is a continuous bended line with very smooth curve. So what are the difference between the two types of spline? So let's select these two objects. Up here is the control vertices spline, and down here is the fit point spline. So as you can see here, in the control vertices spline, it is showing dotted lines with blue points on every corner. So these blue points are the control vertices. And if you click one of these points, let's say click this one and move it, you will be able to change the shape of your spline. But notice that whatever the shape of the spline is, it is keeping the bends really smooth. Now, down here is the fit point spline. If you can see, the blue points or the blue dots are touching the main line or the main spline. And up here with the control vertices, the blue points or the blue dots are not touching the main spline. So that is the difference between the two. So here with the fit point spline, click on this one point, move it, and you can change the shape of your spline. And again, as you notice, after changing the shape of your spline, it is still keeping a very smooth bend. It will not show you corners, or it will show you a very smooth bend, whatever the shape is. So that is one thing, or one way of how we can create spline. The other way of creating the spline is using the shortcut for the spline command, which is the SPL. Type in SPL and then hit enter or spacebar. So by default, if you use the spline command, the shortcut for spline command, whatever is the latest or the previous type of spline that you created, if you use the shortcut for the spline command, you'll be creating the same type. And that is, in our case, is the fit point spline. So that is the spline. And now let's go to the next one, which is the arc. So arc is very easy to make, and by definition, arc is just a single bended line. So how can we create an arc? So again, using this ribbon panel up here, on the upper left corner, you can see this arc icon, or we can just type in the arc command with its shortcut letter A. Type in A and then hit enter or spacebar. Now, you can just click on the 3 points of your arc. So let's say 1, 2, and 3. So the first, the middle, and the end point of your arc. That is one way on how you can create your arc. Now, the other way on how we can create your arc, activate the arc command. So let's click on the start point. Here, down here in the command line, there's an option to click on the center point. So let's say here, this is our first point. Let's type in C for the center point. C, and then hit enter or spacebar. So let's say the center point is down here. Click here. Now, down here on the command line, it will ask you to specify the endpoint of your arc. So by default, arc is created in a counterclockwise direction. So up here is our first point, and then the next point that we click is the center point, which is down here, and now it's asking to click on the endpoint. So let's say the endpoint is here. Click this. So that is our arc. And now let's go to the next one, which is the construction line or the XLine. So XLine is a continuous line without an end or with infinite length. And how can we create a construction line or an XLine? So using the shortcut command for the XLine, XL, you can just type in XL, hit enter or spacebar. Now we have just 2 points to specify, the first point and then the through point. So let's say the first point is here, and then the through point is here, and then hit enter or spacebar. Now, as you can see, our X-line has a degree or angle. If you want to create a horizontal or vertical X-line, type in XL, hit enter or spacebar. You have an option here to create a horizontal or vertical or an X-line with an angle. So let's say we want to create a horizontal X-line. Type in H and then hit enter or spacebar. There you go. Just click wherever you want to place it, then escape. Now let's say we want to create a vertical X-line. Type in XL, hit enter or spacebar, and then we have an option here to create a vertical X-line. So type in V, hit enter or spacebar. There you go. You just need to click wherever you want to place your vertical X-line. There you go. So all of this X-line doesn't have an end, or it has an infinite length. And if you want to create an X-line with degree or with an angle, so let's activate the X-line command. We have an option here to create an X-line with angle, so type in A for angle. Now enter the angle of X-line. So let's say we need it to be 30 degrees. Type in 30, hit enter, and there you go. And then click wherever you want to place it. Let's say here. There you go. So this X-line with reference to ground zero, it is 30 degrees. And that is how we can create an X-line, which is very easy. And now let's go to the next one, which I think is the very basic object that you can create in AutoCAD, which is the point, or the so-called nodes. It can be created using the command point or PO, the shortcut. And to change its type, we can just type in P-type or PT for shortcut. So type in PO for the point command, hit enter or spacebar. Now specify a point. it says here down in your command line. So click wherever you want to place the point. Let's say here, and this is your point. And as you can see, your point is just a single dot, which is very unnoticeable. So let's change the type of our point by typing in p-type, hit enter or spacebar, or you can just type in pt for shortcut. Now a pop-up window with point style will appear on your screen, and I'm using always this one, the one in the middle. Once you have selected the type of point that you like, click OK, and there you go. That is our point, which is much more noticeable than before, than a single dot. And that is how we can create a point. So now let's go to the next one, which is the revision cloud. So what is a revision cloud? Revision clouds are geometries used in AutoCAD to drive attention of users to a certain part of the drawing. And most of the time, revision clouds are used to emphasize the revision made in a drawing. So how can we create a revision cloud? So just using the shortcut for the revision cloud command, which is REVC, type in REVC, hit enter or spacebar. And just like when we are creating a rectangle, you just need to click or specify the first and the next corner point. So the first corner point, let's say it's here, click here, and then specify the opposite corner. So let's say the opposite corner is here, click here. Now as you can see, it is almost the same as a rectangle shape. The only difference is each side has like a cloudy shape, which is the main purpose of the object, is to emphasize a certain part of a drawing. And most of the time the color used for this revision cloud object is red, so it will be easily seen by someone who needs to check or approve the drawing. And that is how we can create a revision cloud. And now our last object is the sketch. So using the sketch command, we can create a series of freehand line segments. So how can we create a sketch? So just type in the shortcut for the sketch command, which is SK, type in SK, hit enter or spacebar. And now it says here, specify sketch. So you just need to click wherever you want to start your sketch. Let's say click here. You just need to click, you don't need to drag your mouse. So just click on the first point and then you can just move your mouse freely. And there you go. It's like a freehand pencil drawing. And just press on spacebar or enter to end the sketch command. There you go. But the only thing is, this sketch, every line segment is not connected. I mean, it's connected to each other, but it is not selected as a single object. So if you select these line segments here, only these line segments are connected. And if you select these segments here, only this segment is selected. So it is not selected as a single object. And that is how we can create a sketch. So guys, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed and learned something from my tutorial. For more videos, please hit the subscribe button and the notification bell, and see you on my next videos.